After a car wreck, you may have to fight with a highly trained insurance company rep whose job is to knock your damaged claim down and out. It's a bad idea to enter the ring alone against a trained boxer, and it could be a bad idea to fight against a big insurance company by yourself. When the bell rings, Attorney Dennis Spurling will be there to fight for your rights. If you've been seriously injured in a car wreck, call me, Attorney Dennis Spurling, at 866-529-2444. That's 866-529-2444.
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and these are my two adorable and handsome sons. And that is my ex-husband, Attorney Dennis Spurling. He practices personal injury law and will be more than happy to help you with claims arising from automobile accidents. He doesn't get paid unless you get paid. And as we first wives know, the more our ex-husbands get paid, the more we get paid. So let me help him help you. Call Mr. Spurling at 713-229-0770. Call my daddy.
Dramatization.
Bad drivers cause car wrecks. Not paying attention to the road, operating electronic devices, and drinking while driving can lead to serious injuries. If you've been the victim of a bad driver, a trial lawyer may be able to help you recover money to pay your medical bills, reimburse you for lost wages, and compensate you for the pain caused by your injuries. If you, your friends, or family have been injured in a car wreck, contact me, Attorney Dennis Spurling, toll free, 866-529-2444. I'm here to help.
Hi, my name is Dennis Spurling. I'm not a lawyer, but my daddy is. Yeah, if you've been hurt in a car accident, call my daddy. No need to scream and yell like a little kid. Yeah, no yelling. My daddy will fight for your rights. Yeah, fight for your rights. If you've been involved in a car accident, call my daddy, Attorney Dennis Spurling.
Hello, I'm Attorney Dennis Spurling. If you've been injured in a car wreck, call me at 713-229-0770.
Call my daddy, daddy.
Co-parenting has existed in my family for as long as I can remember.
Cats bite.
Bite and you bite hard.
Yeah. My children's safety is paramount, and that's why I keep my guns in the gun safe.
Even when we all became silly, it's a lesson. Is that a threat?
It is not a threat, that's a
Fight
promise.
where?
We will be back in court spending a lot of money if you can't make the reasonable decision to let me spend more time with my kids.
I want to see you win. And I put pressure on us men to understand how we did not get our masculinity training. And we have been doing our work, okay? But now it's time for you ladies to understand you're going to have to bet on us like you want us to bet on you. I talked to several men this week. I don't just get on here and talk shit. I have men I call around the world and I ask, what do you think about this concept? Level set me. Shout out to brother Dennis Spurling. Dennis, I'm not going to get, well, I don't want to tell people's business, but I'm going to tell you, high value men retire their women or make them come work for them. So ladies, what is it going to take for you to free yourself? Because you and I both know you're dying at these jobs.
How much do you weigh?
That's none of your business. I told you I was fat.
Oh, okay. We don't play that shit on my channel. You get your big fat ass on somewhere then. I don't deal with you big sassy ass broads.
Bitch, don't kill my vibe. Bitch, don't kill my vibe.
You're all a bunch of fucking assholes. You know why? You don't have the guts to be what you want to be. You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy. You're all a...
Prism has come to me with something. So everybody please listen. She's going to be talking at length, but this is extremely important, I feel. So with that said, Prism, you have the floor.
Hey everybody. I don't know if everybody's aware of what's going on in YouTube. Are you aware? If you are aware of the situation with the attorney, can you please put a 1 in the chat, please?
Everybody put a 1 in the chat if you know what person we're talking about. If you don't, basically we have a lawyer who's positioning himself to be the next Kevin Samuels, but Kevin Samuels, while people would make fun of him and stuff, wasn't that dangerous. This guy, if he has his way, is going to be. This guy's a problem. And it's something that needs to be addressed.
Black male needs to get up and decide to put these black chicks in their place.
Damn. That's huge.
I get it.
You said that black women are messing with your mom? Or you say your mom's in the hospital? Oh, they're messing with the country.
That's so.
Okay, all right.
So the black male needs to say, you know.
Well, let me hold that thought. Let me order this food real quick.
To wrestle the black female and tell her and put her in her place. Because if you don't, she's just gonna just, you know.
Right.
She's just gonna, I don't know, she's just gonna, you know, mess it all up.
First of all, our black women are strong.
I know that.
We got strong black women in this world. Yes, indeed. And the black women in this country, in this world, is not the problem.
Yes, they are.
Because when you talk about it, you talk about my black mother.
No.
You talking about my black sister. You talking about my girlfriend. You talking about everybody. Now I don't know what's going on with your mom.
Yes. No, sir.
I don't know what's going on with your mom, but my condolences to whatever's going on with your mom.
We got black chicks that are like that, okay? They need to be reined in. I'm serious.
These ladies over here would love for you to join them.
Okay, right on.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, You have a nice day, okay?
They got the land Velcro.
For the ancestors.
Welcome to the broadcast. Big shout out to everybody in the chat room. Big shout out to Your Excellence. Sorry, says it's inevitable. The paradigm shift our fallen brother was speaking of. The Godfather is undefeated. Mr. 43TX, thank you so much for the 1999. Also, Randy Irvin, thank you for the super sticker, $10. JB, money on the wood because the stream is always good. Bars. Somebody type bars in the chat room. Wrench Turner, big shout out to you for the ancestors. That's right. Ain't there something, man? That's just despicable. Cerebral Inquirer, holy crap, we need a rapture. Praise Moses. Big shout out to everybody else in the chat room. I want to acknowledge Kevin3905, all my members, Randy Irvin, all the guys in the Wrench Mob, Broken Blade, Joan the Panay Tigress. Who else we got? A Petici Noir. Did I miss anybody? Let me make sure I try to get everybody up in here. Big shout out to Arrowhead One, Sleep with the Third Eye Open. All my guys up in here, man. The Quiet Storm, thank you so much. Thank you for the super chats. Let me see. Randy Irvin. Did I miss anybody? If I missed you, make sure you hit the number one so I can get all my rich ones. Jamal Smith. Who else? We deep, baby. We deep up in here tonight. That's what I like. I like to come in here and everybody's already in here so I can go ahead and get this thing cracking. Nevertheless, another couple of shots out to the Quiet Storm. Salute, Mr. Spurling. Let's get it. And Sneak 623, praise Moses. Look, I want to give a big shout out to everybody who's been contributing, and that's what we do. And of course, before we get started, I want to acknowledge the fact that on July 6th, 2023, which is Thursday, not this Thursday coming, but next Thursday, my television show, Co-Parenting with the Spurlings, will premiere. It is a show about a couple, myself and my lovely lady of an ex-wife, who are attempting to, at that point, and working towards raising our two sons that came about as a result of our union. Unfortunately, our marriage didn't work, depending on how you look at it. Some would say fortunate. But nevertheless, it's a great show. We tackle a lot of issues, a lot of topics. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel now, subscribe to the Esquire Entertainment channel, and y'all check it out, man. I want you guys to do that for me. But nevertheless, that's what the show is about. And it's really about taking back the narrative. I'm trying to take back Thursday nights. When I was growing up in the 1980s, early 90s, Thursday night was Black Night. We would sit around, we would watch The Cosby Show, we would watch A Different World. It was positive images of Black folks, you know, from different walks of life, but for the most part, they act dignified and they acted as they should. And so, you know, like decent human beings with character. And so that's what I want to bring back. So y'all make sure y'all tune in next Thursday. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, stop hate watching. You might actually get something that could help you. Nevertheless, here's what we're doing tonight. Just in case you didn't see it, I'm going to run this back so y'all can see this atrocity as it takes place and the nerve of the fact that they were recorded. Check this out. What you saw there was 4 African-American women who apparently had took the pilgrimage, a return trip home to Ghana. And that was one of those slave ports. That was one of those doors of no return where millions of Africans passed through over a 400, 500 year time period. And that was the last part of Africa that they touched. Black people, Black women, Black boys, but particularly Black women were sexually assaulted. They were raped. They were molested. Horrible things happened to them. Literally, Black people died. And so what you saw there happening was those Black women literally dancing on the graves of our ancestors. And, you know, it goes to show what's really going on in this nation. Now, there's a quote that's oftentimes misquoted. And the quote is as follows: a nation can only rise as high as the moral position of its women. Somebody type moral position in the chat room. A nation can only rise as high as the moral position of its women. Oftentimes what will happen is women and simps will misquote that and say a nation will only rise as high as its women. And by doing so, the expectation is that men will do everything they can to uplift women, even the degenerate, whorish women among us. In other words, it puts the onus on men to uplift women, even women who are undeserving, the crack fiend, who's not a Black queen, but nevertheless, we are obligated to raise her up. That's not what it says. When you add that phrase, when you add that those two words, moral position of its women, it puts the onus on the women to behave themselves accordingly. So we're going to talk about that tonight. What we're going to do at this point, we're going to take a quick break. I want you guys to make sure this is going to be a good one. Y'all make sure y'all come back. But in the meantime, you do what you got to do. You know what you got to do. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. No more hate watching. Welcome back. So let's take a look at this video, okay? You got we got 5 African-American women. As you see, they are weaving it up. Some of them got some sandals on. The two here on the right, they got the sandals on. So we got weaving and sandals. Somebody shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. The other ones got their tennis shoes on. This is a sacred, holy place. This is the slave dungeon in Ghana. This is the slave dungeon in Ghana on the Gold Coast. This is where our ancestors were kidnapped. They are in the motherland. This is what they're doing. Now, this is not the first time we've seen black women do degenerate. We've seen it over here all the time.
For the ancestors.
And the nerve of her to say, for the ancestors. You evoke the name of the ancestors as you literally dance on their graves. Where is this person's mindset that would do that? You have to ask yourself that question. But again, this is the mindset that they have, as opposed to this being a sacred place. But again, we see it happening all the time here in the United States. We recall this behavior. We see it every day in our communities. We see what these lovely ladies are doing. So why is it a surprise to us? It's not a surprise to us, is it, fellas? We see them fighting in the street. We see them cutting up and acting a fool. But now it's been exported. Now it's been taken overseas. Not only it moved from the ghettos of America to the national scene, and now it's going international. Somebody type passport broads in the chat room. This is what our lovely ladies are going overseas to do. The same behavior, and it's going to get worse. Pretty soon they'll be fighting in the airports in Accra and fighting in the airports in Dubai. They'll be twerking on the pyramids in Egypt. You don't believe me? Some of you all wouldn't believe that they would be twerking if I told you 10 years ago that a group of young African-American women would go to the door of no return and be twerking on our ancestors' grave sites. You would say, no, Dennis, you've gone too far. But yet you see it happening. If I told you years ago that Black American women would be fighting in airports in Detroit, pushing people into subways in New York to cause their death, you say, oh no, Dennis, you've gone too far. You don't know what I'm talking about. That's not our sisters. You would think, oh, that's something black men would do. But no, that's not it. These are our women. And whether you like it or not, fellas, they're out of control. But here's the more important point. To the good black women out there, and I want to distinguish, because some of you don't understand that when I'm referring to these degenerative black women, I'm doing so to help distinguish between them and the good black women, the upstanding black women, the women who make good wives. The women who are cooperative, who are pillars of the community, who carry themselves with dignity and grace. Those are the women that we have to protect. Those are the women that we should feel obligated to protect, not these degenerate, masculine, manly broads who are making all the women look good. Now, here's the thing. I want you to understand something. At some point, you so-called good women are going to have to get out of the way and let men like myself who will, while we will, because at a certain point, even Uncle D is going to say, I'm done. My kids are grown. I'm moving overseas. I'm out. I'm going to reimmerse myself into the greater African diaspora, and I'm going to move on. But while there are black men who are willing to speak up and help you differentiate yourselves from these low caliber, low moral women who are out being violent, and you need to jump on our side, men like myself, and there are others here on men like myself who are brave enough to speak up and show that, hey, this behavior is abnormal. These women need to be shamed. Don't defend them. And those simp enforcers who are constantly making excuses for these black men who lied to you. These black men who tell you that your behavior is perfectly acceptable when they know it's not. Those are your enemies. Any man defending you in your degeneracy, any man defending you in your drug addiction and your perverted behavior, twerking on the ancestors, great. Look, I'm all for dancing. You like to twerk, baby, go to the club. Get you a couple of, one margarita, you can, whatever, all of that. Somebody's type one margarita, okay? You can do what you want to do when the time is appropriate, but not on our fallen ancestors' graves. That degenerate behavior is not appropriate. That masculine behavior is not appropriate from a woman who expects to be treated like a woman. Again, I'm all for having a good time. I'm all for people dancing. I make music for people to dance to. But there's a time and a place for that. You want to be half naked and dance? Go to the beach. Go to a beach party. Don't do it in the middle of the Washington National Monument. You want to fight? Join an MMA club. Don't do it on an airplane. You want to do a brawl? You want to brawl? Join the WWE. You shouldn't be fighting in the middle of Ocean Drive on South Beach. This is what I'm talking about. And so you good black women need to understand that this is a problem. And you need to begin to differentiate yourself because you're going to go down with them. Nevertheless, when I come back, we're about to get this thing cracking. Y'all make sure y'all do what we do.
She that's on the main line, tell her what you want. Oh, she that's on the main line, tell her what you want. She that's on the main line, tell her what you want. Call him up and tell her what you want. Oh, call him up, tell her what you want. Call him up, tell her what you want. Call him up, tell her what you want. Call him up and tell her what you want. Oh, she just said if you go, I'll go with you. Open up your mouth and I'll speak for you. Lord, if I go, tell me what to say. They won't believe in me. Oh, they won't believe in the Father. They won't believe in the Son. Oh, they won't believe in the Holy Ghost. They won't believe in me.
There you go. I like that clap. Woo! Not bad to be light skinned, huh? All right, fellas. So what you see on that video is degeneracy. And the video I'm talking about is the one that we've been looking at all day. Okay, it's this one right here. This is degeneracy on full display. Look at that. What you see again on this video is the degeneracy of Black American women. And now you've seen it exported around the world. It was bad enough when their vulgar, whorish behavior was localized in the neighborhoods and the ghettos of America. Now, they went international. Before that, they went nationwide. And now it's international for the world, on display for the world to see. We told our African brothers about African American women, didn't we? We told them. Somebody typed, "We told you so" in the chat room. But instead of heeding our warning, you gave them grace and you gave them deference. And you said, "Oh no, there's just something wrong with you black men." In return, guess what they've done? They've come to Ghana and they've desecrated one of your sacred sites, one of our shared sites, a site where millions of our ancestors died. What do I mean? They targeted the door of no return, where black folks were kidnapped, raped, slaughtered, thrown on the hulls of boats, and shipped off to the Americas, North, South, and the Caribbean. Ghana referred to this as the Gold Coast. There wasn't nothing gold about it except the gold they were stealing from the Africans. But it was one of the destinations to buy slaves, one of the major ports. It was one of the major players in the slave trade. Now, Ghana didn't exist at that time. It was an empire ruled by tribesmen and kings. But the Gold Coast was a British crown colony on the Gulf of Guinea in West Africa from 1821 until its independence in 1957, and now known as Ghana. The term Gold Coast is often used to describe all four of the separate jurisdictions that are under the administration of the governor of the Gold Coast. These were the Gold Coast itself, Ashanti tribes, the Northern Territories, the protectorate of the British Togo Land Trust Territory. Nevertheless, what you saw those women doing at this location was distasteful, to say the least. My question to you all is, who travels to such a sacred place to make a mockery of the suffering of several generations of African ancestors? How would we feel if that was a bunch of white girls doing that? What about if it was a bunch of Hispanic women doing that, or Asian women out there? You wouldn't like it. You would be appalled. It would show you that those particular people have no home training. They are degenerates and immoral. But we should expect that. We should expect that from our sisters because we've seen it happening to them, or those women among them, for the past 4 decades. Once they started twerking in church, you need to understand that they lost respect for God, and everything else would soon follow. And that's what they are doing. They're twerking in church. So this should come as no surprise. Hell, you see what they wear in the church. Go to a church these days, especially these mega churches. It's a fashion show for prostitutes. Imagine a Jewish person going to a Holocaust site and doing something like that, some sexual lewd act at a Holocaust site. They wouldn't. I am both ashamed and embarrassed. I'm ashamed and embarrassed at the gross, depraved, low ghetto behavior of these women. Now, again, it wouldn't be the first time these lovely ladies, really, these horrible ladies, took a shit on our ancestors' graves or memorial sites. It wouldn't be the first time. You saw in the beginning of this broadcast, I show you, they had a commercial where a woman named Cheyenne Simmons was twerking on the MLK statue in DC. She twerked on Abraham's, all of that. All of these sacred memorial spots. Again, I'm not surprised. But nevertheless, what would we expect from the dominant society's best helper? What would we have thought? You should think nothing less. That they would desecrate the memory of our ancestors. We need to condemn this behavior. Desecrating our history. Desecrating the blood that was shed. the sacrifice that was made. Anyone who defends this is just foolish as these horrible ladies. But here's the problem. It's nearly impossible to put shame on them because they've been taught not to respect black men. And of course, there's always a protective simp. Somebody type simp in the chat room. There's always a protective simp that emerges and provides them cover in the form of excuses for their generally bad behavior. At some point, black men, I can promise you that at some point, black men will be held responsible or accountable for this degenerative behavior of black women. And you guys are like, what do we do? You don't see black men twerking on sacred ceremonial grave sites. You don't see us crip walking at the door of no return, do you? These women were literally dancing on someone's grave. More importantly, they were dancing on our ancestors' grave. It's a complete disrespect. These degenerate hoes are the ones I've been talking about. The whole time, these degenerate hoes are the ones I've been talking about on this broadcast. They make all of our women look bad. They make the good black women look bad. They make the decent black women look bad, and that's dangerous. All of you all who don't like me, I don't give a damn. Stop protecting these rotten skanks. Get out of the way and let me and the other men chastise these embarrassing tricks and hoes to bring them back in line. Get out of my way. Look what they are doing. You black American women don't have the backbone to put these whores in place. You'd have 50 years to do it, and you didn't do it. And I'm lumping the good ones in with the bad ones. If you quiet and you good, you're still part of the problem. If more of you would have put these other women in their place for their bad behavior, we wouldn't have these problems that we have in now. You older women don't say anything to these younger women about their bad behavior, not even the mothers. On one hand, you're scared of them. On the other hand, you cheer it on because you like the fact that they've reached that low bottom. It gives you clearance to do dirt, don't it? Well, shit, if she's a whore, if she's a whole prostitute and a stripper, I can ask Thomas for a little extra money. Tell him to hit me up on my cash app. It provides you cover because you can always point to the next person lower than you. I understand. But you should be ashamed of yourself. We need to start embarrassing these women who raise these women for doing a horrible job at raising their daughters. Because what's happening now is all of y'all are being lumped together. And that makes it dangerous for all black women. Now we assume, somebody type Dr. Umar Johnson in the chat room. We assume that Dr. Umar Johnson and his ilk, Dr. Boyce Watkins and all these other professionals, they still believe that these whores are queens. They still believe that all of you black men, married, single, no children, not dating, they still believe that all of you have an obligation to protect these whores amongst us. I'm not talking about the good black women, the ones that you see covered up on my page here. And that's a photograph, a famous photograph from the Sisters of the Nation of Islam. They are covered up. On one hand, you see them. Those women can get my protection without word. If I saw a woman dressed like that being harassed and tormented in the street, I would put myself between that woman and her attacker because she looks like a decent woman. She looks like a good woman. She looks like someone I would not be wasting my life or my efforts to protect. But I am an intelligent man, and I can distinguish between what is good and what is not worthy of my protection. But again, people like Dr. Umar Johnson, Dr. Boyce Watkins, and all these others, they believe that all of these women are queens. And they believe that all of you black men should lay down your life to protect all these queens, even if they are twerking on the gate of no return. I disagree. Somebody type, I disagree, Doc. I do not concur, Doctor. In fact, I think him and many of the other professionals are compromised. And they will do anything to keep the donations flowing in so they can finish their schools and finance their lives. That's what I think. Let me give you somebody who I respect, and let me tell you what they said. As the great Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you cannot protect what you cannot control. And in these quagmires, I defer to his wisdom. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in a speech, you cannot protect what you cannot control. And what I find is these ladies of ours, these horrible ladies, are completely out of control and have no respect for anything. This group, the most oppressed group, the most disrespected group, I think Brother Malcolm X would differ if he were able to come back from the ancestral plains and come forth and see the degenerative mess that our lovely ladies have entered themselves into. He would not say that they're the most disrespected group. He would say they're the most disrespectful group in America. The American black woman's behavior is only going to get worse. Everywhere they go around the nation and around the world, they're showing their whole, complete, and entire ass, literally, by twerking. Now, for you good black women who are listening to me, your reputation is becoming that of the worst women in history because you are tied at the hip with these women. I think truly that God is exposing black women to the world for us to see. Why? Because she's being punished for her transgressions against the black man, the black woman, and the black family. I believe when she took the crumbs of the ancestors, the crumbs of the dominant society back in the 1960s and separated herself from the black family, I believe that was a treachery that has gone unforgiven. I believe that made the black family dynamic weak. And in doing so, she allowed the enemy to infiltrate God's chosen people. For her time in Africa, when she bedded the European enslavers, and the Daughters of the Trade describes it very clearly. She married the Dutch invaders, bore their children, provided comfort and care to them as they helped mine Africa of its best and brightest and took them to the wilderness of North America, the Caribbean, and South America. While she was here, during our unfortunate enslavement period, she played the role of bed wench, mammy, comforter to the enemy. Matter of fact, more black American women owned slaves than black men at that time period, inheriting them from their lovers and their fathers, who were white men. South Carolina, 2/3 of the black people who owned slaves in Charleston, South Carolina, were black women. And now I believe they're being forced to pay for their treachery. Do you think it's a coincidence that black women are catching hell in these past few years? Just look. Look at how they're being exposed. Their reputation used to be one of being a sexual object. She was a harmless sapphire. She was the master's bed wench. But the modern black woman, her reputation is known as one for being criminal, for being violent, for being prone to irrationality. She is known for being vulgar and indignant. She has become public enemy number one. The female incarceration rate has begun to increase dramatically. And who amongst those women is leading the pack? Black American women. Why? Because society, which is reflected in the jury pool, which was reflected on the judiciary, which is reflected in the prosecutors, society does not see the black woman as a female anymore. And they're beginning to treat her like she is a black male. I don't think black women are ready for that. I don't think they're ready to be treated how black men have been treated for the past 400 years in this country. She's been the white man's pet for centuries. We have been the white man's kicking mule. And I don't think the black woman is ready to deal with that. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already, and get your barbecue sauce ready, because we're going to keep on barbecuing this conversation. Y'all do what you got to do. I'll be right back. Welcome back. We're going to keep on cooking. We're going to keep on barbecuing. I want to keep this going. I want to acknowledge the people in the super chat, but give me a minute. I want to keep this going. Let me share some insight with you. I speak to thousands of black men every month on this page. I've speak to hundreds of thousands of black men over the past 13 years since I've been an advocate for black men. Now, I think it's fair to say that even black men from America, who are your natural partner, are beginning to lose their attraction to black American women. I'm not saying black American women aren't physically attractive. I'm not saying they aren't pretty. And I'm not talking about all black women or all women of African descent. I'm telling you that based on my observations, these brothers are embarrassed to be around you. In fact, these black men don't even want non-black women who act like ghetto black American women. This is why they don't speak to you when you're in public. This is why they walk by you and don't acknowledge you. They are embarrassed of you because of your reputation. Some black men have noticed that they get treated better when they're with non-black women in public by other people. They're not telling you this, but it's a lot of shit they didn't tell you. They didn't tell you about passport bros either, but it happened. I'm telling you. See, my good friend Kevin Samuels, he knew about passport bros. He knew about all this other stuff. But he didn't tell you because you wouldn't believe him. I'm telling you, your own black brothers, your own sons, ladies, don't want your ghetto ass around them because you, even as their mother, are embarrassing to them. So if these brothers don't even want to bring their mothers out because they're embarrassing, what makes you think they want to date some ghetto ratchet chick who has no self-control, always picking a fight? I'm just telling you, that's what's there. Now, these good black women, I want you to hear me. Somebody type good black women in the chat room. This ghetto trash doesn't represent all black American women. They represent the stripper and whore culture, those who subscribe to that culture amongst you. And this is one reason that black Americans need to stop supporting that self-destructive trash that's coming out of pedophile Hollywood and satanic music industry. They pay you lots of money to go be ungodly and low class. And they turn black people, especially black women, into stars to influence the black community, to keep us from uplifting ourselves and keep you from uplifting yourselves, to keep you in a low moral position and rather in a degenerate position. That's what they're doing. They know that a nation can only rise as high as the moral position of its women. So the target is you, because you teach the children. So if you're in a low moral position, you're going to teach your children to be in a low moral position. Again, let me say this again. I want to be absolutely, if you want to twerk your ass in the club in the VIP section with a bottle in one hand and a big fat ass blunt in the other, fine. I'm all for having a good time. I still listen to rap music. I'm all for it. Have a blast, but it's a time and a place for everything. You want to be sexual and lewd? Do it in your bedroom. Do it on the dance floor, in a club somewhere. Not at the goddamn point of no return, the door of no return in Ghana. You black people need to realize that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. What you see amongst us are the fallen ones. They are the children of their father. And until they redeem themselves, they need to suffer our collective chastisement. Spiritually, this, and let me show you again. Spiritually, this was disgusting. At a location where thousands of African ancestors were raped, these women toot their asses up and performed a lewd, over-sexual dance. Instead of crying and vowing to make it a point to stop being sexually exploited, they went and laid a curse on their own souls, performing some sort of demonic ritual. There's nothing godly about that. It's disrespectful to the black women that came before them. See, American media, they love to promote that degenerate image of black American women. This is what they want the world to see. Just like that. Bent over, ass up. That's all they think you're good for. The problem is, as they do this, they drag the good black women down. The good black women get caught up into this. The degenerate members of our community, the female members of our so-called community, they're happy to oblige this negative stereotype that the American media loves to promote. Everywhere they go, it's a strip club. Look at this shit. Everywhere. You might as well throw 100 ones at them. You turning the door of no return, a sacred site, into a strip club. Got the place smelling like yeast and ain't nothing baking. But there's plenty of shaking and twerking. Smelling up the place. Got it smelling like 10-day-old fish. Dried and crusty. Stanky and musty. Again, there's a time and place for things. There's absolutely a time and place for you to shake your ass in the club, not at a sacred monument. All cultures around the world have women who dance seductively. In fact, they dance seductively in the Bible. I'm all for people being loud and boisterous and having a good time, but there are boundaries. And that's what separates the civilized from the savages. Somebody type civilized in the chat room. Somebody type savages in the chat room. These women have no self-respect, no self-esteem, no common sense. They're totally embarrassing. It seems to me there's absolutely no place that the American black woman will not shake her ass. All you got to do is offer. No class, trashy, ashy, nasty, and probably rashy. Now, imagine how many babies and baby daddies and abortions and STDs they have amongst them. And I want you good black women to understand that the rest of the world is lumping you in with these no good degenerate women. Here you are, sacrificed your life to be a good woman, to be a good wife, to be a good daughter, just so you can be lumped in with this trash? So you can't keep quiet anymore, sisters. You can't not get involved with this. Not if you want your reputation to be saved. You can't keep low-key co-signing this behavior because you think it's funny. Because it gives you a back door to slide out in case you want to go do something degenerate. Because at the end of the day, you're going to feel the same punishment and chastisement that these women are feeling. You're guilty by association. When society sees you, they see all those negative stereotypes. They see tramps, they see ghetto trash, they see ratchet acting women. And you're going to carry that reputation, sisters. I'm speaking from personal experience. Where are my brothers at? I'm speaking from personal experience as a black man growing up in the United States. When they see me, they don't see a professional black man. They don't see a lawyer, a man who's never been arrested, never been convicted, a good father. They don't see that. They don't see a businessman who's been successful in all his businesses. They don't see an entrepreneur. They don't see an author. They don't see an executive producer, owner of my own entertainment show. They don't see a musician. They see a thug. They see a criminal. They see something to be afraid of. They see a deadbeat daddy. They see an ignorant, lost man. They see Pookie and Ray Ray when they see me. Because for the past 50 years, these are the type of low-class, degenerate men that have carried the reputation of black men throughout the world. And the average citizen outside the culture cannot and will not distinguish between me and those type of men. And as a result, I suffer. And I'm speaking from personal experience. More important, our sons suffer. because our innocent children will inherit that same reputation, having done nothing. And that's why many of us here on black male-oriented media, we do our very best to change the reputation of black men. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. Shout out to Media Man. Y'all type Media Man in the chat room. I like that brother. He does good work. He comes with the facts. And you can tell him Uncle D said it. I appreciate his work. We're doing the best we can to change the reputation of black men. That's why we fight these tropes. That's why we fight these tropes with facts and arguments and data. And it's a hard fight because we get a lot of pushback, not just from black women who want to maintain the status quo. Because when they stop looking at black men, guess what? They're going to look at them and say, well, if it ain't them, it must be you. But as a result of our efforts, we're making progress. And in fact, I would say black men are winning. Somebody type winning in the chat room. But see, here's the difference between black men and everybody else in this country. Y'all listen up close. We built for this. We've been doing this. Black women and no other group of people in this country have endured what black men have had to endure. We did slavery damn near by ourselves. Those ships were filled up with black men and black boys coming over here. The population was 400,000 all the way up until 1807. That's when they start bringing black women over here for breeding purposes. From 1807 to 1860, we went from 400,000 to 4 million. But up until that point, slavery had been predominantly a black male endeavor, which we suffered through. It wasn't until late in the game that you ladies came over less than 3 years later. You did 53 years of slavery with us. We did that first 400 by ourselves. So you're not built like we built. You don't have the same mentality. That's why we tell you only a black man in America can teach another black man how to live in this country, how to exist in this country. It's different. And what I'm telling you, ladies, is you're not going to be able to do that. You are not going to be able to endure what we've had to endure. So what do I suggest to you good black women? I want you to hear me and hear me clearly. And I appreciate your efforts, but you need to redouble your efforts. We need about 30 Crimson Cures on this YouTube platform. Constantly telling these women about themselves and holding the mirror up to their face. We need a whole lot more than just one. Somebody type Crimson Cure in the chat room. I suggest you good black women, you join me and the other black men who are taking our time to chastise these whores and bring them back in line. Don't fight against me. Don't fight against me. I'm your best friend. I'm not Kevin Samuels, though. Kevin Samuels tried to talk to you. I'm going to whoop your ass in line. All I need you good black women to do is move out of the way. Send those degenerate women to my page. Don't send them to Dr. Umar Johnson. What is he going to do? Help them justify their behavior by blaming the black man? And as a catch-all, blame white supremacy, racism? Don't send them to Derek Jackson. All he's going to do is make him feel good while he's fucking over him like he did his wife. Making them feel good in their degenerative behavior. And don't send them to Miss Pope either. As preachy as she says she is. All she's going to do is protect them from this chastisement, which is designed to help them see the error in their ways. Send them to Uncle D so they can get some of this cold, hard truth. See, the truth is love. The truth is love. I love my people. That's why I still talk to you motherfuckers. If I didn't like you, I wouldn't give a shit. I'd be on the island where I was. Because I love you, I'm willing to fight with you to make you better. I'm willing to fight with you so you can see the errors of your ways. I'm willing to fight with you to help save your soul and your reputation. That's the mark of a person that really loves you, not a motherfucker that's willing to tell you any goddamn thing so you can give them donations. Fuck them. I'm not going to tell you everything you want to hear as you march towards destruction. You are necessary. Good black women are necessary. Why? Because all these black men are not going to be passport bros. Somebody type passport bro in the chat room. All you niggas ain't going to be passport. You wish all you want to. Y'all ain't getting no mother. You ain't going nowhere. You're going to be right goddamn here. Black men are in mass going overseas. Some are staying. Many are bringing women back. But the vast majority of black men will need to settle down here in the United States with a good, decent black woman. 51% of black men don't have children and aren't married. Who they gonna marry? Who we gonna dump 10 million black men off on? There ain't nowhere for them to go. They're gonna die childless. No legacy. The state is gonna get their money. Unless we do something to reform these women. I'm not like Kevin Samuels. I'm fuck talking nice to them. I'm gonna cuss their ass out and tell them about themselves like a real uncle would do. Somebody type Uncle D in the chat room. You low-life degenerate, close your motherfucking legs. That's what I'm gonna tell you to do. Spreading them STDs like they Tic Tacs. We need good black women. We need to reform some of these black women that we have, or scare the hell out of the bad ones so they go into hiding where they should be. And you good black women need to stop fighting against men like me. I'm not the only one. Don't fight against men like me. Come to my side. You ask for strong black men? Well, here I am. Not in the package that you expected. I'm a mean motherfucker, and I enjoy it. And you need people like me. If not, our nation, our people will be lost in the annals of time. We will disappear from this planet like so many other cultures have disappeared. It behooves me and other men like me to do our best to ward off that inevitable outcome that we're marching towards. And that goal will not be accomplished by tickling your motherfucking ears and telling you sweet words and lies that make you feel good about your degenerate self. Send them to my page. Send them here so they can see what real black men think about them without being filtered by simps or being paid very well to make them feel better. Send them here. You want to know what black men think? Send them here. Because I'm not afraid to tell them. And I don't give a shit what they think. You can't do nothing to me. You send the trolls, I'll beat them back. Some of you motherfuckers decided to call the FBI on me. Them motherfuckers got off the phone with me. Oh, no, we cool, Mr. Spurling. We know you. Yeah. You thought I didn't know? I got your motherfucking names and phone number, even the one in New York that said it was anonymous. Yeah, St. Louis, New York, Virginia. I got all your motherfucking information. Keep fucking around and find out. I'm an unstoppable freight train, motherfucker. I'm coming through on your ass. Now try it and find out. calling all my Muslim brothers. Called Quanell X on me about 2 months ago. The brother called my office. I called him back. He from Compton. Shit, he went to school with my people at Crenshaw High. What's up, Quanell? Yeah, man, we know the same people. Yeah, brother, you just old school. Like, that's right. That's exactly what I am. And I'm not backing down. That was it. Who else you motherfuckers gonna call? You better call Jesus. Because that's the only one that's gonna save me from, that's the only one gonna save you from me. I'm built different. I'm a different kind of nigga. You understand? I'm not afraid to die, and I'm not afraid to live for my people. Now, hopefully, you will begin to change your opinion of what's appropriate and inappropriate in the public sphere. Otherwise, I'm going to keep kicking off in your asses until you do. Because the future of my children and my grandchildren and my sons are heavily dependent on what we do today. Because guess what? This shit right here is unacceptable. That shit is unacceptable. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Y'all hit the #1 button. This is Uncle D.
Oh, if she got her nipples pierced, got ass from here to here, then you know that she's a hoe. If she's on Instagram or Bioways and OnlyFans, she's out there selling that thing. See, I know you gon' trip finding out that your chick in Vegas drunk on the strip with no panties on. I know that you gon' say that your chick ain't that way. Miami, DR, Dubai, but you didn't go. Nigga, she's a hoe, hoe, hoe. And I think it's time you know. Nigga, she's a hoe, hoe, hoe. And I think it's time you know.
Coming up next on
Back to the broadcast. I hope you guys appreciate this conversation. Look, if you like what I'm doing, if you appreciate this conversation, if you learned something, if you've been inspired, make sure you pay me for my time. I appreciate you guys doing that. Let's go ahead and hit me up on the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. And otherwise, until then, y'all go ahead and be with Jesus. We'll be right back. Make sure you pay me for my time. More super chats and we'll be right back. We're going the bullpen is open. You guys who want to come in and chop it up with me about this, come on in, man. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. We need 5 more super chats and we'll get back to work. All right, we need 4 more super chats. We're gonna break it up a little bit, and maybe this will get you motivated, baby. Under the blood,
me say me under the blood. Jesus cover me under the blood. Under the blood, me say me under the blood. Jesus, you can cover me under the blood. In the morning when me wake up, and the blood of Jesus me take up. And when me feel like me, I go break up. Put the blood on me face just like a makeup. In the morning when me wake up, and the blood of Jesus me take up. And when me feel like me heart break up, put the blood on me face just like a makeup. Under the blood, under the blood, Jesus cover me. Jesus, you can cover me. Under the blood, me say me. Under the blood, me say me. Under the.
Some more super chats. We need 1 more, actually. 1 more super chat. I know y'all gonna get me there. We got a couple of guys here, man, hanging out. Look, I need you guys to come in. I want you guys to come in. We got a couple of fellas here who are hanging out. I want to get as many guys in here who want to get in as possible so we don't have people coming into the conversation late. Nevertheless, as you guys know, man, I've been showcasing my music. I got some beautiful songs for the summer. And we're going to take a quick break and let the rest of these guys come back in. In the meantime, y'all check out one of the crowd favorites. It's called Lovely Lost in Time. I think the fellas really like this, man. We're going to change the mood up a little bit. But fellas, man, the link is in the chat room. It's tied to the top of the chat. Y'all check this out. Come on in.
Perdido en el tiempo.
Lost in Time.
Perdido en el tiempo, conmigo, mi amor, mi amor. Perdido en el tiempo, conmigo, mi amor, mi amor.
I will pass like 5 minutes, 30 days fast as one. They say time fly by when you're having fun. Lost son having fun, a beautiful one. Every day, every month, every time just gets away. Less time left now than the beginning of his day. It was dark in the morning, too early to play. He making up for light lost at daybreak. Every season of summer, lots of rain, sometimes hurricane. He goes through great pain to avoid his past. He divorced his old earth. It was just too much hurt. In search of his father, lifted in heaven on high, free to dance around now. That boy enjoying his life.
Perdido en el tiempo, conmigo, mi amor, mi amor. Perdido en el tiempo, conmigo, mi amor, mi amor.
They say high, move away, smooth as a way. Lovers play easy like warm breeze off Caribbean sea. You see, it's hard to be me. That part would crush the common man. Got king blood in his jeans. Must be a king thing. He thinks with his heart, but only with the hard part. That's where the story died. Life story crafted in lies. Truth set him free. Did his time, free to live. Enjoy the world before the Lord takes what he gives. That's just it. So much time lost. No need to look at that. The past just that. No need to look back. Now it's time spent right, living his life, loving newfound traditions. Can be you too. Open up your heart and listen.
Perdido en el tiempo, conmigo, mi amor, mi amor. Perdido en el tiempo, conmigo, mi amor, mi amor.
They dance and pray. How dare you say he rather moving on their feet than begging on their knees? He's there to please, lost son going too deep. Whether he speak on pretty beaches and island girl features. They like it when he whispers sweet words to others. He kissed her, sweet nothings of 1,000 lovers. No need to go deep down in alleys of no return. Spend time in the valley of the sun as the earth turns. All lovers return to the dance floor. Sweet soulful beats, sweet as honey mango tea. Just be, dance and live like it's your last. Be there, you should, he does, baby, it's all love.
Perdido en el tiempo, conmigo, mi amor, mi amor. Perdido en el tiempo, conmigo, mi amor, mi amor. Perdido en el tiempo, conmigo, mi amor, mi amor. Perdido en el tiempo, conmigo, mi amor, mi amor.
Don Juan Carlos, El Patrón.
Welcome back. We got the fellas here, man. The fellas in the bullpen. They're coming through. Anybody who wants to come in, you're going to have to show your face. We don't do that. Can't let you hide out up in here, man. But anyway, welcome, fellas. Welcome to the broadcast. Let me make sure you guys subscribe to Esquire Entertainment, the television show, the YouTube broadcast. Co-parenting with the Spurlings will be played simultaneously over there. But before we get going too good, I want to make sure I acknowledge the special people who contributed to the super chat. Black intellectual, black men, we moving correctly. Don't stop and get tricked by Miss Dr. Goofball Johnson. You're not responsible for to fix what you did not break. That's exactly right. Clark Brown, thank you so much. Phil Thomas, thank you too, sir, for the super chat. Slim Shavy, thank you. I toured 2 of the slave dungeons in Ghana, right, during the year return. There was nothing hype to dance about. I had watery eyes the entire time. I was there. This was pathetic display of FBA harlotry. Yeah, it's just horrible. I tell you guys all the time, you got a nation full of whores. And I think now you're finally beginning to recognize What I'm telling you is true. Torin Jones, thank you so much. Jamal Smith, thank you too for the $5. The day of reckoning is coming by way of the Blizzard King. You're going to learn today. No, brothers, it's because of you, brothers. You're the cold shoulder that's turning, not me. I'm just somebody who's sticking a pin in it and letting everybody know, yeah, this is what's happening. I'm simply I'm giving them a play-by-play of what's happening. John Coffey said, thank you so much for the super sticker. Big B Baker, $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. Phoenix JK Adventures. Goddamn. Ratchet Renaissance. You get the rock and roll. Thank you so much for the $100 out here. Mercy Panama. Thank you for the $5. Michael J. Thank you too. Big shout out to Phoenix JK Adventures. Sean Lewis, respect Uncle D. Spit that. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. Hey, man, it comes from the heart. TJ Patterson, thank you. Thank you so much for the $20. Thank you, Sean Lewis. You two also for the $20. Quiet Storm, big shout out to you for the hot $100, man. Appreciate that. You get the rock and roll. And of course, as always, sorry, Deacon, Salty Balls, y'all done piss Uncle D off. Here's the thing, man. I am an African man. I'm a brother of African descent. I'm a black man of African descent. If nothing else, we respect our ancestors. You are not African if you no longer respect your ancestors. You've lost your connection to your African people. When you begin to desecrate, you worse than the white man. You dancing on the graves of our ancestors. You showing the sellout for who you are. This is who you are. So yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm pissed off behind that. And we all should be. Cerebral Inquirer, don't fight your protectors. Exactly, sisters. You good women, don't fight me. I'm trying to help you before it's too late. Simple Shit TV, support black male media. Thank you so much, brother. Who else we got up in? Deacon Salty Ball, Book of Grudges, thine embellished in the soullessly wretched witchery. These wicked wenches are complicit in their own colonized minds. One cannot distinguish between high pedigree and pedigree from sleazy or ski. Those women would not have been able to get passports and they had felonies. Those are educated black women over there twerking on the graveside of our ancestors. That's not ratchet chicks, what we would think is ratchet. That's the most educated over there. That's the best we have to offer. And this is what they do. That's a shame. That's another observation that, we made. Randy Urban, horrible representation of black Americans to all Ghanaians, embarrassing. Definitely. Thank you so much for the $10. MS Delta got my Mississippi. Thank you so much for the $100, brother. Arthur Weeks, absolutely deplorable behavior. Appreciate your work and try to catch you each time you go live, either doing or through catching the replay. Keep stepping on their necks, Uncle D. All I'm doing is kick them in the ass. That's why I don't step on. I might sprain my ankle, but I can kick clean off in their ass. I can do that real good. It's a clean shot. There's geometry involved. It's a crack of the ass, and I got this size 14 alligator going right up in it. Bam, nigga, field goal. Anyway, Aries 1 3 2 1. Like this is like a bizarre episode of Boondocks. You would think that they have just shredded dignity not to do something so egregious. If they don't course correct, they'll twerk right into the chain. Yeah, those are Uncle Ruckus's nieces right there. That's who those are. Oh, Crimson Cure came through. Big shout out to the Crimson Cure. This is something I've said before. She is now being treated as the new black man. Yes. And she won't enjoy that at all. No, she won't. Big shout out to the Crimson Cure. Love her broadcast, man. You brothers should definitely go check her out. We need about another 30, 40, 100 of them broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to rebuke this horrible culture that we have going on here. Who else? Urban Eagle, thank you so much. Beretta, let me see here. Beretta, Nine Umar and his alikes won't say ish about this. My homie always say we have been fighting to remain at the bottom. Amen. Thank you so much for your observation. Soul to soul travel. We can't fix it until we stop simping for BS. That's true. But unfortunately, there's always one. There are ninjas in the chat who know damn well they hit up girls in the DM. Stop it. The guy in the black suit, the lack of global accountability on these ratchets will become the future impetus for their continual immorality. Uncle D, thank you so much. Phil, thank you so much for your $1.99. Matt Newland, thank you so much for your super sticker. 1990. Shay Chardre, I would support a law to ban twerking in public. It's done more damage to the image of black women than anything else. I had all the ladies that I liked the most come through. All these wonderful married women came through. I was in my zone. I ain't see them. I would have acknowledged you ladies. I apologize for that. But yeah, I had to get that out. But thank you so much, Shay. I'm going to appear on Miss Shay's channel in the near future to talk about my broadcast to co-parenting with the Spurlings. Anybody who wants me to come, if you want me to come around and talk to you about the importance of that, you guys have asked me, hey, how do you become a good father? It was a hard ass fight. But if you look at that 16 episodes, you'll get some great ideas. I teach my children stuff as complicated as how to avoid school shooters and everything. I'm telling you, it's funny. You're like, wow, Uncle D is really putting it down. My ex-wife thought I was crazy. She didn't want him being in martial arts. Now she liked the fact that her son don't get bullied. You see what I mean? Her sons don't get bullied. They don't have them problems that we had. My son is a sweet, wonderful boy, but he will whoop your ass. You see what I'm saying? And so he gives off that vibe. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. I'm gonna go on Miss Shay's show and talk about that. But again, co-parenting with the Spurling premieres next Thursday right here and on Esquire Entertainment YouTube, which you can subscribe to at the top of the channel. In case you don't like me, you want your kids to watch it. Esquire Entertainment is friendly, kid friendly over there. Jamar, thank you so much. Da Vinci was an abomination. And gentlemen, thank you so much for holding on. I want to acknowledge these people who read, Sneak 623 was an abomination. Yes, it was. Who else we got? Cerebral. Again, Ancestors about to haunt the ass. Passport Heaven. Kevin 3905. Thank you, Uncle D. Mercer Panama. Thank you. Shout out to Uncle D. Urban Eagle. Quiet Storm. Salute, Mr. Spurling. Thank you so much, man. And Cerebral Inquirer. Y'all really came through. So anyway, man, fellas, the floor is open. Gentlemen, I think I got everybody in. Salty Boss said the twerking senator, the twerking at the El Mina cast. I know the twerking on babies. Shake my head. Yeah, degeneracy. And one more, black intellectual. Black men be moving correctly. Don't stop and get tricked. But yeah, that's right. But anyway, man, the floor is open. Guys, the floor is open. What would you like to add to this conversation? Matter of fact, Alvin, I need to rest my voice real quick and take a drink of water.
Yes, sir. Look, I'll kind of get us started. To be honest, there's nobody checking them. They're going to continue to do it. I think it's trash. I personally ignore ladies that give off that kind of energy, but that's just me. Black Samurai. Well, how about we start with you, bro? And we'll make our way around real quick. We'll do some initial statements and then we'll chop it up. Go ahead, Black Samurai.
The first thing that came to my head, like Uncle D said, to me, like the twerking senator, these are educated women. These aren't the bottom women that's out there traveling. You got to have bread to go to Africa. At the end of the day, it's just sad that we at this point in time that we have to talk about something like this. We have to see something like this. It's a shame that the was the point of no return in Ghana. That's where it all started, and they have no respect for the ancestors.
Zero.
And it's sad. It's a sad. See, the Ghanaian government should have, if they was really had some, they should have had security. Snatch them up by their weave and throw them in them dungeons. You know what I'm saying? If they really had some sense, but
that is what it is. Yeah, I know, right? Slim Shady, what about you, bro? And then we'll go to JJ Keen and then Hassan. Go ahead, Slim Shady.
So shout out to you, brothers, man. I was there in 2019 for the 400-year return. I got to go visit those castles. They do tours the entire time. It's a very serious time to be there. The history that they're going through. They walk you actually into the dungeon. You see how little light they had. There's nothing but concrete walls as high as the eye can see. There was no way those people were going to get out of there. The stuff that they did to our women in there is just like, with the stories they're telling, how do you feel so aloof to find the time to go and do that? It's such a somber feeling being in a place like that because it's real. Like, you always heard about it, but when you see it, you're like, man, they really did this to human beings.
Yeah.
It was bad. And so for me to see those girls doing that, I'm just like, I can't offer you no protection if you're that type of person. And if these are supposed to be some of the best of our women.
Yeah. Lost, huh? Just lost. Keen, what about you? Jump in here and we're gonna go around because I have some questions I'd like to ask you. So I'd like some input, but go ahead, Keen. Thoughts?
The world is seeing what we've been saying for years. I mean, there's only so much a panderer can do now. They can try to blame us and this, and they're being exposed. You're strong, independent. You make your own decisions and actions, and on the highest stage and the most sacred stage, you disrespect yourselves and your heritage. It is what it is, man. I just tell women, don't become part of the place because these kind of women are being replaced.
That's what's up, Brother Hassan. Thank you, Keen. Brother Hassan, what are your thoughts initially, just off the top of your head?
Shout out to the panel. Shout out to Mr. Spurling and everybody else on the panel. As I was falling asleep, I had no intention of hopping online, none whatsoever. But then I'm listening to Counselor Spurling explain how they went to a secret land in Ghana somewhere, and I'm half open my eyes, and I'm thinking like they can't be twerking. That. Let me sit up. Then I'm watching them twerk, and the more I watched them twerk, the more upset I became. And it just goes to show every man, not just black men, all men have seen how women are moving. And it's embarrassing to them, not to us. We've been saying this for years, decades in fact. Say, hey man, I want to stay with my, trust me, I've been to quite a few panels with Mr. Spurling, and I've said to myself, I want to stay with our sisters, but if I marry one, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
If I marry one, I'll be surprised, because they act like because what usually these our lovely ladies say, they're strong and independent and don't need no what? A man. If a man makes dough, we go like, oh good, I get me a family and take care of my girl, take care of my kids. When a girl gets money, what our lady say? I don't need no man. I got money now. So there you go.
Yeah. That's what's up. Black Samurai, it seems as though the lovely ladies, they don't see anything wrong with this though. That's the thing. Like they see nothing wrong with it. There's no shame. So honestly, we have this position and we're making it known, but do you think that it's going to be us that's going to shame them into, or do they need other women to shame them into? What are your thoughts?
They're going to need other women, because you got to think of it like this. If the black women don't respect themselves, they don't respect black men, they don't respect other cultures in the where they're going, in the countries where they're going, who the heck they going to respect? You know what I'm saying? Now it has to come from the female side, because that's where most of they probably listen to another female other than anybody else. So it has to be the females, but it has to be the females that shun that. I don't hear them. They don't have a voice on YouTube like a Crimson Cure. There should be 1,000 Crimson Cures right now making videos on YouTube right now shunning this, but you don't see it. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big problem. That's a big problem.
They don't see anything wrong with it. Slim Shady, do you think they understand respect? Like the definition of respect? Do they think they respect themselves, but they just misunderstand what respect really is?
I think a lot of time we carry a lot of American hubris with us when we haven't lived in a culture long enough to learn to respect another person's house. And what I see, because I actually just got back from Cuba last week, I was there for about a week. Beautiful dark-skinned people down there, our brothers and sisters down there. And they were so happy to see brothers down there come and visit them and see what their lives were like. And I think a lot of times they get the best of us when we come out into the world. I feel like our sisters don't necessarily have that responsibility that they wear in themselves when they move throughout the world. They feel like nobody can tell them anything and they're just above reproach. And I'm just like, sister, it's a reason why these people don't want y'all in their countries. You don't tip well, you don't follow the culture properly, and you just out here moving as if someone owes you something. It's disappointing, but I'm not surprised by it.
Yeah. Keen, what about you, man? I mean, you have a lot of conversations with a lot of these lovely ladies. I fundamentally think they misunderstand respect, what respect is. Because I mean, look, twerking is what? It's simulating sex. Like, let's just be real. They're simulating what they're gonna do on the D, and you're doing it in public. Keen, what are your thoughts?
Well, they live to rebel. They live to try to defy nature by saying they don't need a man when they do not survive without a man. They're rebellious. They're followers of Eve. That's all I can say, man. It's like, I wasn't planning on coming up here, but it pissed me off watching how I came up here. It's just to listen to see the unified black men discuss this, we vent, and still keep it a logical conversation so the world can see. So, I mean, what are we gonna do? You know, a lot of them are so far gone.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They're so far gone that they know they can't be saved, so they're gonna keep doing stuff. And it's like, how many can we save? Really, how many can we say?
It might take an act of God for them to change, bro, because they don't see anything stopping them. Who gonna stop them? You know?
Man,
Or can you save any for that matter?
They claim to follow God, but don't even listen to what God says. Serve your husband. Like,
Look, they're showing you their value right there. That's their value right there. That's what I'm worth. That's what I'm
Value
worth
is
right there.
shit.
That's it. That's what I'm worth right there.
You got to think about it. That building that they're twerking on, thousands and millions of chained Africans was in that building in the dungeons.
Our ancestors.
Our ancestors was in there, and they got the nerve. That's an epitome of KK Keisha right there. That's the epitome. You can flip it.
That's real.
Best terminology, KK Keishas.
Yeah, jump in there, original man. Go ahead. What are your thoughts?
You know, I never planned on coming on, but I mean, when I looked at this, I was just so damn disgusted. I mean, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, you know, why would you stoop to this low? This is where our ancestors were brought, and then we were shipped out to different parts of the West. Okay, you know, are Jewish women going to museums in Germany to twerk at Holocaust museums? Are the Jewish women doing that? No. I mean, but it's always got to be our people, Black American women, unfortunately, that got to stoop this damn low. You got a senator last year twerking, hanging upside down, twerking for votes. Last year, you had another black lady, sponsored by BLM, by the way, twerking at Martin Luther King's monument. And again, let me tell you something. Twerking is not an African dance, damn it. How many times we gotta tell you that? That's stupid. Stop trying to pacify degenerate behavior.
No,
I'm sorry. I'm upset. It just pisses me off.
It's okay. It's okay,
It
brother.
should.
It's okay.
It should.
God damn.
It should. Hey,
It's
let's.
embarrassing.
It really is. Let's get JJ in here real quick, and then we'll open it up. JJ, what are your thoughts?
Yes, sir. Thank you. You know, I've seen a clip and I saw a video on another content, but I can't. Out of respect and admiration and appreciation for Uncle D, I don't want to bring another person's content up on here, and I don't want to get him flagged. But it was funny to me what I seen. It was a succubus, well, succubi singular for, you know, and the succubus is plural. It was a succubi down in Jamaica, mad at Jamaican men for not cleaning her fish plate to get a green card. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be PG.
I got you.
All the indignity. I say, I don't blame them men. You know, I mean, that's like slavery in a way and degrading in another way. And she ought to be shamed. But I laughed when I saw that way that guy was talking about that, the way he reviewed that. And, you know, if they go to that level, they can't get the men here. They go to other countries and they go the same thing. They fail. See, it's not only going to be women in this country here to shame them. It's going to be men from other countries to shame them. Well, women in other countries too, for that matter, because they don't even compete. They don't even compete with the women in other countries to get the men in the first place. From here, leaving there to go get women.
Amen. You know, I gotta ask, Mr. Uncle D, do you think that they are just historically too detached? They're too detached from history, affected by it, or they? I have a hard time understanding how someone could be in a place like that and still think that what they did was appropriate. Do you think they're just detached from that part of history, or? You're muted, I think, maybe. Black Samurai.
They have to be detached. To me, Black history starts at home. I'm gonna be frank with you. How I grew up when I was in kindergarten, when I was in the Cub Scouts, it was.
I think that.
Hold on, Black Samurai.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead, Uncle D.
Clear that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that they just don't give a shit. I think they don't give a shit.
And that's a problem.
I think they're only concerned with themselves. I think they're selfish. That's pretty much what I think. I think when you have a group of people who feel that they're above reproach, even their own men can't check them, you're going to get this. They're just like wild animals roving the countryside, and they've never had to suffer the consequences of their own actions. What other group of women can have the highest rate of out of wedlock birth rates with a tiny percentage of the men, and then blame the government and blame the rest of the people, specifically the men who had nothing to do with it? What does that do to your mindset when you are never forced to accept responsibility for your actions? You're a child. And just like a child who's unreprimanded, they're going to throw tantrums everywhere. They're going to do whatever they want to do. And that's what you see happening right now with Black American women. They are literally out of control, just like that white woman pointed out. But here's the thing I want to challenge you guys on. Because, see, I don't want the decent Black women who are wives and who are mothers, who are chaste, who are raising their children, who are cooperative. I don't want them to be confused or intermixed with these no good skanks. That was the whole point of the thumbnail. But see, unfortunately, fellas, these so-called good Black women, the ones who haven't done anything, their reputation is going to go in the toilet with these degenerate whores because they haven't done enough to separate themselves. Now, if I see a woman covered up from head to toe, I'm going to assume that's a good woman right there. If I see somebody running up trying to take advantage of her, I'm going to put myself between that person and the danger. You see what I mean? But we don't, our good women, we think, oh, she's educated, she's good. Most of those women who went over there probably were educated to some degree. Maybe they didn't have college degrees, but they certainly had enough money to get over there. So that tells you about the class that they're in. You see what I mean? And look at what they're doing. You got middle-class Black women twerking on the door of no return. What does that say? You see, so my whole point of this broadcast is I'm pretty much writing off those whores. Let me say that again. There's no hope for those whores. Now, they can come and change if they want to. I've seen the Honorable Elijah Muhammad do great work with them. I saw Kevin Samuel try to rehabilitate that whore mentality, but I'm done with them. But my thing is, you good Black women, the Crimson Cures, the Shay Chardres, you women who are married who want to see change, you got to come to my side. You got to come to our side, because I'm not going to fight with you and them. See, I'm focused on Black men. I'm focused on saying, brothers, you're free. The world is yours. Go see what it has to offer. Fuck these hoes. Okay? And any woman that sides with them, if you quiet, then you on their side. It's time to be vocal, ladies. It's time to chastise this behavior. Don't just leave it out there for the few men that are willing to do it, that are brave enough to do it. Because, see, on the other side, you got the Umar Johnsons, you got the Boyce Watkins. Every now and then they'll say something, but for the most part, they know which side of the butter or which side of the bread their butter is on. And that's the old African-American saying, which means they can't they can't go too far off the plantation without getting handled. So they can't do much. We have to begin to be vocal. And you Black American women, you good Black women, you got to distinguish yourself from them by speaking against that. Before we go any further, I want to make sure I acknowledge Everett Blake, thank you so much. Jonathan Tate, thank you. Blake Swain II, Everett Blake Swain II, Van Rawls. That's kind of my thing. That's the whole point of this. So what do we do to convince the so-called good Black women that they need to speak up? How do we begin to do that, fellas? Go ahead.
Well, we need more platforms like this.
Let me lay it down like this. I got a passport. Most of y'all ain't gonna go get no passports and go nowhere. You might have a passport, but you're not moving to Colombia to stay. You're gonna be right here. And if you can't find a good woman, you're gonna be single and childless for the rest of your life. You're gonna die and have no legacy. All that work that you've done to build yourself up to become the Blue Henrys and the high value men, all that's gonna just go to the government. The government's gonna do a process called the sheet. It's ESCHEAT. They're gonna take your house, they're gonna take everything. It's all gonna go. Your legacy is going to die. No one will remember you. Nobody's coming to visit your grave. You won't have children. You won't have grandchildren unless you find good women that you want to be with. So because I know that the vast majority of black men are not going to travel overseas, the vast majority of you black men want black women. You want black American women because that's your culture and that's what you're most comfortable with. I know. I'm still very comfortable with black American women, even the ratchet ones. I can sit down and chop it up with a ratty ratchet bitch and play dominoes, and she can twerk all she wants to with somebody. I just don't want you doing that shit in the streets, you sad asses. You see what I'm saying? I'm cool with it. If you want to throw your ass on the back of me while I got a 40-ounce of OD and a cigar in my hand, go right the fuck on ahead. Just don't do it at the Washington Monument at ML, or in the middle of the MLK parade. You see them? Don't do that. That's disrespectful. You see, it's a time and place for everything. So my thing is this: how do we go about getting these black American women to reform these other ratchet hoes? Because see, they don't listen to us, Alvin. Black Samurai, they don't respect us enough. Hassan McMillan, they don't give a shit what we say. You understand what I'm saying? Original Man, King, Slim, they don't give it. JJ, the only people they give a shit about is when the women start turning on them. And as long as the good women keep making this shit acceptable, they're going to keep doing it. So how do we motivate the so-called good women to say, no, come on out there and you deal with these battle axes. Y'all been sitting aside for 50 years, kikiing and cacaing with the sisterhood. And now the shit is getting bad because the police are going to start treating all black women like they criminals, just like they treat us. That's what I want to throw out there. Fellas, what do y'all think?
So
let me say something on that. I want to quote something. Proverbs 11:22.
On that particular subject, I want to know, JJ, you've been here a long time. How do we get these black women to begin to address them?
We got to call them out, Uncle D, and we got to say, hey, we know a certain amount of percentage of you women don't act like that. Call them out because we can't do it because they're not listening to us. They're not gonna listen to them, man. They probably ain't got no father at home. They ain't got no father at home, so they're not listening to them.
Ignore them all and date out. Ignore them all.
Let me quote something. How do we ignore these bitches and they twerking on the motherfucking grave sites now, Alvin?
Ignore them all.
How do we ignore them if they twerking on the grave site? These bitches are embarrassing.
Because the whole world,
they are doing that shit. Yo, they are doing that shit anyways, y'all. They are doing it anyways, whether you like it or not.
Listen, they're gonna go to enough countries. They're gonna go to enough countries, Albin, where they're gonna start making laws against this, and then they're gonna make us look bad.
So already here's the problem. Here's a black samurai. Guys, we see that coming. We see that coming, right? You're gonna have daughters, you're gonna have nieces that you're gonna want to come with you on these trips. And then when you go to Ghana, you're like, damn, we don't let black women in this motherfucker. These bitches is twerking and fucking up shit and fucking niggas and giving niggas STDs. These bitches can't come over here. No more you black bitches here. No. That ain't gonna be cool. So why don't we nip that shit in the bud now?
That's not too far. Let me finish my quote.
I don't want these bitches using my Airbnb.
You know what? You know what it is?
Yeah,
we got to take them females who's not like that and put them on our side, and then they'll be isolated.
How do we do that? See, this is what I'm saying. It's easy enough to say. The sisterhood is strong. These bitches are locked at the hip. Even the good ones, they still sisters with the bad ones. They're not going to portray the sisterhood. How do we convince them, look, little lady, you're a good girl. You're a wife. Don't defend these ratchet, low-life, twerking assholes that's doing all this shit. Stop doing that because they're about to drag you down the toilet with them. How do we speak that? I don't know. You know, these bitches are violent. I don't want to say that. How do we do that?
Let me
finish quoting what I was about to read. Quote, Proverbs 11:22. A beautiful woman lacking modesty and discretion is like a fine gold ring and a pig's snout. So if they act like that, they're going to be seen as such.
Yeah, but see the problem with that. See the problem with that is, and I appreciate, I get it. We get that. That's how they're being seen now. But see, the thing is, there are other women who are good looking. I mean, there are other women who look like them, who are Black American, who are not like that, but are getting caught. They look like pigs, but they ain't. They look like the fowl, but they're not. So how do we convince those good women before it gets too late, Slim Shady? Before it gets too late, Original Man? Before it gets too late, Mr. McMillan and King Barracuda? How do we convince these good Black women, look, You need to come over here. I know you don't like Uncle D. You think he hates all black women. No, he's just a mean motherfucker. Okay, that's all it is. He just mean, and he's just what's necessary. You need to come over here and stand with us and let us roast these bitches back in line. That's the question. How do we convince them to do? Because see, I'm not nice. I'm not going to talk to them nice and sweet. I can talk to you guys. We can be rough. We can talk. We can be honest with each other. And men respond. I'm not going to talk nice to them. And they're not just going to come over unless you're giving them, they used to flour and honey and shit. How do we begin to do that? Y'all pontificate on that for a minute. In the meantime, we're going to run this one back because we need this one to be heard one more time.
If she got a nipples pierced, got asked me to hear, then you know that she's a hoe. If she's on Instagram, her bio is an OnlyFans, she's out there selling that thing. See, I know you gon' trip, finding out that your chick in Vegas, drunk on the strip with no panties on. I know that you gon' say that your chick ain't that way. Miami, DR, Dubai, but you didn't go. Nigga, she's a hoe, hoe, hoe. And I think it's time, you know. Nigga, she's a hoe, hoe, hoe. And I think it's time, you know.
Broadcast. I want to give a big shout out to everybody who's contributed to the super chat. Kevin 3905 said, treat them like all the same, but we can't treat them all the same. We got good girls. We got to have some sort of punishment for the bad girls. We can't treat the good girls like we treat the bad girls, or the good girls will be like, well, what's the point of being good? So we can't do that, but I don't think that's a good enough answer. Matrix 533-5381, with Huma, Florida, we don't protect them, but that only forces their children to protect them like that 14-year-old boy did when he saw his mom getting punched in the restaurant. Keep up the good work. No, that bitch provoked that motherfucker, and she knew her son was strapped, and that's why she said, all right, get him. All she had to do was get her food and get the fuck on. But she stood there like a man and provoked him. She has a concealed carry license. She gave him the strap to hold. You understand? And then after they walked up out of there, chased old buddy out the hot dog shop and shot him some more times. Yeah, they called it self-defense, but the bitch provoked the shit. You see what I'm saying? Now, should he have hit her like that? No, he shouldn't have. But she's sitting there in his face, provoked. That's what these bras do all the time. Y'all know that. Then you look like the bad guy. We done call you everything but the child of God and provoke you to raise your temper because you're a human being, and then you fuck around and get shot behind it. You see what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, brother, but 14-year-olds should not be shooting people in the back, doing proxy violence, playing bodyguard. Kevin 3905. Every black woman needs to be removed from any position of leadership and influence of the government, any companies in America until they get back in line. That ain't gonna happen. We live in a free society. That's not gonna happen. But I mean, it's ideal, but it's not gonna happen. And if you had a daughter, you wouldn't want your daughter to lose her job that she worked for. You see what I mean? Why not just reform the culture? Because there's plenty of people who are Asian and Latino, they still culturally women. They're not out there twerking and acting mannish. So we got to have a more practical idea. And I think the quickest way to just get all the people who are like-minded on one side and we whoop the other side ass. Samuel Jenkins, they are not our women. Unfortunately, brother, the rest of the world says they are. And as I say in my book, you are what they say you are. Okay, remember that. You are what society says you are. I know your mama said, no, you're not. No, you are what the fuck if they call you a thug and a degenerate and they treating you like one, you are what they say you are. You can prove yourself different, but that's who you are. TS, they know that what they're doing, they're twerking for Zaddy, their slave master. Anyway, look, fellas, we 2 hours and 2 minutes in. Alvin, if you like to continue this conversation on your page, I got court tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. And so I want to make sure I'm ready for that. I got to rest my voice. I need my sleep, and I need to get up early and prepare for court. But I want to acknowledge, JJ, you were saying there was some hidden meaning before we. What do you mean by that? And go ahead, tell me what you meant by that.
Two key words, the lack thereof, modesty and discretion. These women that out here twerking and all this stuff, and these so-called good women ain't separate themselves and ain't call that stuff out. They just as bad.
Right.
Modesty and discretion.
It's a sisterhood.
If they don't have,
it's called female-owned group preference. That's what it's called. They cover each other's back. Men like watching each other get kicked in the nuts. We don't just come to each other's side because somebody's getting messed up. A woman might not even know another woman. She might be a woman of a different race, but she's naturally inclined to come to her rescue. That's what I'm trying to break up. See, what people like Crimson Cure doing, people like Shay Charjay, it's literally blasphemy what they're doing because they're going against the sisterhood, and it's very difficult. And it's great they can do it because we provide cover for them. Because as long as there's somebody out there who is as bad as I am, they pretty much can say anything. You see what I'm saying? As long as I provide cover, I'm Overwatch. Those of you guys who are in the military, type Overwatch. That's the sniper up in the building shooting kids and fucking women. Anybody that looks like a threat, I'm taking their ass out. That's a cold-blooded motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? And so as long as men like me, mean men, who don't care about your, and all, the only thing that makes me mean is I just don't give a shit about your feelings. Nobody gave me a shit about my feelings when I was growing up, so fuck your feelings. You see, that's one of those, what do they call it? The mama issue, daddy issue. I'm one of them niggas. You see what I'm saying? So fuck you and your feelings. I'm the product of Black America over the past 40 or 50 years. I'm what came up out of you. I'm the answer, and the rest of the men like me are the answer. We don't care about your feelings. We're mean as shit. We'll turn the cold shoulder. We'll step over the dead bodies. However, as just and wise men, as thoughtful men, there are good women out there who are raising children. There are good women out there who are submissive to their husbands. They should be rewarded. Otherwise, we don't live in a just world. The just should not receive the same punishment as the guilty. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to, as thinking men, begin to say, how do we begin to distinguish them? And what did Moses say? Come up out of her, my people. And so we need to call these women. You come out of her. You stop co-signing with them hoes. Stop going to brunch with them. Stop hanging out with them. Stop interacting. I don't care if it's your mama, your sister, whatever. If they're whores and they're degenerate, you separate yourself from them. So we will know you from them. And I know it's difficult for women to do because you're very clannish. You're very cow-like. In other words, you're herdish. You know, I get that. I understand that. But it's becoming a matter of life and death. If you don't separate yourself from them, guess what? You're going to be lumped in with them. The police ain't going to be able to tell the difference. When they hem you up and think you're a criminal, every time you walk into a Walgreens, they think you coming in there to boost and steal. That's what they see you as. You can't even, the Uber won't even pick you up no more because they see a black woman. You already can't get in the clubs in Miami and New York, LA, and any other city we're going to. You got to be in Atlanta or Houston or somewhere in Alabama to get in. But everywhere else, they don't want you there. Now these countries are saying these are some horrible ass broad. They're gonna be, you know, when you show up at the country and everybody else get a stamp and they let you through in the visa, they're gonna take your ass, they're gonna get your motherfucking fingerprints, they're gonna ask you where you're going, they're gonna send you to the back. That's how they're gonna start treating black women. You're gonna start getting treated like secondhand citizens everywhere because of the reputation that these bad women are putting on you. So the good women, you know, and I want you to understand, the good women, I have an obligation as a black man to protect the good women. You men have an obligation as black men to protect it, not these hoes. I don't give a fuck what Umar Johnson say. You damn sure don't have an obligation to protect some ratchet, dirty, trifling, skank ass whore who's out there talking loud and talking shit. You don't have that. Fuck that shit. You do not throw your jewels to swine. You do not throw your life away protecting some hooker getting beat up by her pimp or some broad or some KK Keisha getting beat up by her pookie Ray ass boyfriend. You don't do that. That's none of your business. You'll be laid out and they'll be back together in the following week. She'll be testifying on his behalf in court. But if it's a good woman out there and you know them when you see them, some of y'all know some good. It is hard to find them, but some of y'all were raised by good women. Some of y'all's great grandmothers and grandmothers were good women. You don't want nothing to happen to her. She was a decent woman. Stayed with her husband the whole life. took care of you, took care of family, fed them, dealt with them badass, rotten ass generation. What do they call baby boomer ass kids? You see what I'm saying? Dealt with them. Those are good women. They deserve our love and respect. But what they got to do is they got to make some step forwards towards us. I'm not reaching in there to save you. I'm not reaching in that tar pit to save you. You're going to have to come on up out of there. Distinguish yourself from those horrible women. Anyway, Clark Brown, thank you so much. So I'm not sure they will, Dennis. Most of them still want to bend the knee, and they won't come until you do. Yeah, unfortunately, but see, here's the thing. All we can do is warn them. That's all I can do. All I can do is sound the siren, brothers. That's all we can do. I can't make them do nothing, but they can't say they wasn't warned. Bitch, it's about to get hard on you, okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you. You keep hanging out with these low-class women and looking like them, wearing that same weave that they wear in them extensions. You look like them. You a good girl, but you out here getting tattoos and shit. You a good girl, but you out here got a weave down to your back. You got eyelashes. You look like a criminal. And you're going to get typecast. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm not coming in there to get you. We passport bros. We up out this motherfucker. We turn the cold shoulder. But if you come over here to our side, it makes it easy to protect you. You got to make steps towards us. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, a nation can only rise as high as the moral position of its women. Let me say that again. A nation can only rise as high as the moral position of its women. And right now, the moral position of Black American women is in the toilet. And that's why we ain't rising. And it's on you ladies to put yourselves at a better position. Other than that, big shout out to my man, Black Samurai. Big shout out to Slim Shaby. Big shout out to JJ Diesel Cowboy Monk. Big shout out to Original Man, Haseen McMillan. Always good to see my yardie up in my favorite yardie, Ken Barracuda. Always good to see you in here, brother. And of course, a big shout out to Alvin Holden, man. If you want to continue this conversation on your other page, I hope you would. Y'all go find Simple Shit TV, man. I'm sure the link will be up in a minute. Yeah. But other than that, man, God bless y'all. Appreciate y'all. But you good ladies, look, I don't hate you. I'm just fucking mean. Okay, I don't hate Black women at all. I just don't give a fuck if you get punished or not for what you've done. I'm not here to save you. I'm here to speak to my brothers, let them know that they have options, let them know that they're free. And I'm going to defend them because what you've been doing to them over the past 50 and 60 years is wrong. You've been disparaging their reputation. You've been disparaging my reputation. I have to live in that skin. My sons have to live in that skin. What I do is purely selfish. You see, what I do is purely selfish. I'm protecting my brothers. That's why all the niggas you send my way, whether they Quanell X or the FBI, they like, we understand what you're saying. We got it. We with you. We with you, Mr. Spurling. Everybody. So nothing that forms against me, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And y'all can take that, shove it up your motherfucking asses. Other than that, it's gonna be, I'm out.